For those who are listening who are curious about what makes good real estate photography, my question for you is, what do you find most important as you take photographs of properties that are for sale?
So I think the biggest thing is declutter, and I
Okay.
know as real estate agents, you guys are all about that. Getting countertops cleaned off,
Yep.
appliances put away, just sort of really minimalizing what's in the house. And then, as simple as it sounds, open the blinds. Opening the
Let the
blinds.
sun shine in. Let the sun shine in. So it's really as simple as making sure that whoever's looking at the pictures has plenty of spaces to look at that can be their space and not your space. So as you're taking photos, and I would assume that since you are a professional real estate photographer, I would assume that you look at other people's photography. And I don't want you to talk names. I don't want to embarrass anybody here. But like, what are some of the things you see others do that, in your opinion, kind of ruins a picture where you would do it a little bit differently? And I might be putting you on the spot, but I'm very curious because I know there's got to be little tricks of the trade.
Well, I'll tell you, cell phone photography is the biggest thing that I see. And it can be done very well, and it can be done very poorly. One of the really important sort of technical parts of real estate photography is that a vertical needs to be vertical. In a cell phone, if you've got your cell phone angled, all the walls are going to either angle in or angle out. That perspective shift. So I think probably agents or maybe even photographers just sort of popping through with their phone doesn't do the house justice. And of course, any photographer in the mirror is another big no-no. So if you see someone standing in a bathroom.
I'm raising my hand, by the way, because I do that. But how do you make the picture just be that perfect picture? Sometimes it's a little bit of the picture is just a smidge out of focus, or whatever it is that makes things show up really well. Like, what are a few rules, a few things that you try to remember there in terms of, from a technical standpoint, taking the best picture?
From a technical standpoint, I try to get 3 walls in
Okay.
every shot, and that allows you to sort of see the size of the room. And then I also do a technique where I take 3 different exposures and combine them in the editing process so that the highlights and the shadows and the lowlights are all blended in a way that makes a more digitally appealing photo. You'll see some that are just lit with flash, and you'll be able to see the flash shadows. You'll be some that were not lit with flash, and it can be very dark looking in the room. Basements especially are challenging.
AI is turning into a really big thing. It is amazing. There are all kinds of systems out there that will analyze photos, pick the best photos, all kinds of stuff from an AI standpoint. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on AI creeping into real estate photography specifically.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting time. I have always approached all of my photography, and especially real estate photography, with the philosophy that it needs to be accurately represented. And people would joke in portrait, oh, can you take 20 pounds off and that kind of thing. And I just always said, you're beautiful just how you are.
Right.
And so I feel similarly about real estate, that it really needs to be represented accurately. There is a new tool in Photoshop that just launched maybe 2 weeks ago that is able, within a couple of commands, to make amazingly realistic looking photos. Sort of walking the tightrope a little bit of I think it's important to represent things truthfully and with integrity while showcasing homes in the best light possible. So the way I approach editing on real estate is if the homeowner is planning to repair, say, a mark in the paint on the wall, that's the kind of thing I can do in post.
Right.
If somebody has a destroyed bathroom and they're like, well, just make it look like a new bathroom, to me, that's
Yep.
sort of crossing the line. So
Yep.
it's just a very interesting time. It is making the editing process much, much faster.
Is
The
it?
AI can do in seconds what it takes a human to do in hours. It's a very interesting, exciting, a little scary time, I think.